Alright guys, welcome to your 21st tutorial, and in this tutorial I want to talk to you guys about the ribosomes. Now before we do that, we need to understand a few things, and the first thing is that whenever your cell decides that it needs to make a protein for whatever reason, the instruction to make a protein is of course inside the nucleus because all of the DNA, let me draw some DNA right here, let me draw another strand, I might want to color code this baby, so actually, that's not bad looking DNA if I don't say so myself. So here is your DNA, and as you should already know, the DNA, might as well label this DNA, has all the instructions on how to make a protein. However, the DNA never leaves the nucleus. Here's the nucleus right here. Now, remember, the DNA has the instructions on how to make a protein. However, proteins are made out here in the cytoplasm. So let's think about this. If all of the instruction is right here on the DNA, but the proteins get made out here, how the heck can that happen? Because you need the instructions to make the protein. Now, the way that the instructions get to the area where the proteins are made is through a molecule called mRNA. mRNA. Now, of course, mRNA is the other type of nucleic acid, or one of the other types, and it stands for messenger RNA. Now, what messenger RNA is, it's basically just that. It's the messenger. So again, whenever your cell, and here's a cell right here, decides that it needs a protein, what it does is it gives the instruction to the mRNA. Now, why can't the DNA just go out and give it himself? Well, because the DNA never leaves the nucleus. It's not allowed to. So the mRNA, which looks like a little strand, it leaves the nucleus and it heads over to something called the ribosome. ribosomes. Now, the ribosomes are these little ugly looking blobs, and they're actually scattered through a couple places on different organelles. We'll talk about that later on. Some are free floating, some are stuck on an organelle, which we're going to be talking about in the next tutorial. But basically, what the mRNA does, once it has that instruction, is it heads over to the ribosome, and where your ribosome is basically where your proteins are made. So proteins are made right here on your ribosome. So again, they aren't made from the mRNA, which is this. The mRNA is not an ingredient of the protein. The ribosome is not an ingredient of the protein because remember, proteins are made from amino acids. Amino acids make up proteins. So amino acids are the ingredients for proteins. mRNA is basically like the template saying this is how proteins should be made, or the recipe, and the ribosomes are pretty much like the workbench where proteins are made. So just to recap one last time, whenever you decide that you need a protein for some reason, instructions for the proteins are copied from the DNA, and the instructions are given to the mRNA, called messenger RNA. Then the mRNA, which is a little pink strand right here, it leaves the nucleus. Why does it? Because the DNA can't leave the nucleus, so that's why it needs the mRNA to. And it heads over to the cytoplasm to the special organelle called the ribosome. Now the ribosomes, and we'll talk exactly the process where amino acids come together, link together, and form a protein. But for right now, just know that the ribosomes then organize mRNA and other molecules needed to build the proteins. So this is pretty much the instruction on how to build a protein. The ribosome is where the protein is made, and then amino acids later on are going to come floating in, and according to the instruction from the mRNA, that's how they know which order to pretty much form the protein. So ribosomes use the mRNA as a template for determining the correct sequence of amino acids for a particular protein. Make sense? I know it's kind of confusing, but just remember, ribosomes are pretty much the workbench where proteins are made. So, Okay, take a deep breath in. I know this is kind of confusing, so if you understand this, then go ahead and watch the next video where we're going to be talking about something else, something a little bit, better than ribosomes. But one last time, I know that this is very confusing, so I want to pound it in your head. Amino acids are put together to form proteins. So mRNA right here, it isn't the ingredient, it's just the template or the blueprint telling how the amino acids should be arranged. Now ribosomes right here are just the location where all of this crap happens. So in the next couple tutorials, we're going to be learning about the specific method where amino acids come together to form this. But for now, that's all you guys get. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I didn't confuse you guys too bad. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.